They're on some run, but how realistic is Villa winning the title race?
More realistic than you winning it, is what I would say. More points drop.
We'll get on to
No, I'm getting onto it now, because I'm that Gyökeres talkers. You've dropped more points.
Yes.
Liam Delap, where was he? João Pedro, where was he?
In the 10.
Cole Palmer, where was he? Steve, where was he?
Didn't start.
Yeah. Before we get into that, if you could please subscribe. We're on the way to 10,000 subscribers, trying to hit it by the end of the year. Your support so far has been amazing. We appreciate it very much. Where are all these players that you've been gassing up?
Yeah, I'm not happy with it.
Flawless.
As I said, I wanted this week to be like, right, leave it in the past, boys. Don't make this a thing. No, they've made it a thing. We're still December as anything. Like,
you got away with it massively because the Arsenal result, because there's some other things that are going on. And I've not heard anyone speak about it, but the form the Bournemouth are in,
I know.
I can't believe that Evan Nielsen missed that chance. They should have beaten you.
No, honestly, I watched the game. It was a waste of everyone's 90 minutes.
It's always that I watched the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw
should Garnacho have scored when he hit the post?
Evan Nielsen missed from 2 yards out.
Yeah, he did.
Absolute tap-in.
He did.
And also in the first half, Bournemouth had other chances. Apparently it was kind of, I didn't watch the game.
They were better first half.
But,
we were better second half. It was a really drab, dire affair that I wouldn't dress it up and go, oh no, we were really unlucky. We weren't doing enough. We weren't doing anything in that game. So and the second Palmer comes off, because obviously he's not going to play 90 yet. I just thought, where's that goal coming from? Mark Gue coming on for Delap. It was just, mate, it was like...
I said about it in your last pod, your depth is just like actually shocking for a team that spent as much money.
Yeah, we have numbers.
Yeah.
But we don't have quality of
Mark Gue
numbers.
coming on like, okay, he could back a goal maybe. I mean, I've been very unconvinced when I've watched him. He's meant to be on loan at Sunderland right now. Probably would be their third choice striker as well after Robbie and Isidore. So the fact that he's the man you're turning to after Delap goes down injured, it's like, that's concerning.
But I find what was weird about that more was, I don't know why João Pedro wasn't brought on. And I saw Chelsea fans saying like, oh, but he was going to come on for Palmer. I'm like, bring Esteval on for Palmer in the 10 then. Like, João Pedro's a better not. I prefer him at 9. He comes on at 10. He's not creative enough a player for me to be playing that role. Like, just play him at 9. And look, I'm not sat there panicking. 1, because this happens every bloody December. 2, with the players, like, I'm very aware that without Caicedo, which is his own fault, we are a much worse team. And like, I thought people like
Dion shouldn't stunt you going forward that much, though.
And you did have Reece James back in midfield.
Yeah.
Who, obviously, everything we heard after the Arsenal game.
He had a fine game. No, he had a very good. He had not a very good game. Rather, he just had a standard game. It was as soon as it got to our attack, because there was multiple times where we got like a 3-on-3, and Neto kept just stopping to come back, and like Garnacho was a bit more direct, but he wasn't getting things right. It was just like a really poor not necessarily final ball, but decision-making performance.
Yeah.
Garnacho, Neto, Delap.
It's not exactly.
Three.
That's not some title winning.
I like all those players individually. I think they've got quality, and I think they could go on to be like Neto, especially. I really rate a lot higher than other people do, but I still don't think he's like a world beater. Just such like that front three could easily be West Ham's front three, and you wouldn't bat an eyelid. Like realistically, I know João Pedro normally starts. Esteval will obviously be a regular starter in the future. Palmer obviously in the 10, but it's just something about Chelsea. I'm just like,
Delap seems more interested in fighting than.
I agree. I agree. I know he's injured. I know he's injured. He's been injured, but even since he's come back, it's like he looks to scrap rather than win the duel, which is annoying. I still feel like João Pedro has more box presence than him, even if sometimes he tries to go for a turn rather than shoot.
Yeah.
Delap has been a painful watch at times so far.
I said it in the summer.
Genuinely, I said it last week. Like at the moment, I'm not seeing anything between him and Mark Gue.
Yeah.
Like, and Mark Gue was offering nothing. I'm not saying
I said it in the summer. Delap's next move should have been Everton when they were in for him in a big way. Delap. Obviously, you're going to pick Chelsea if they come in for you. You're going to pick United. It should have been Everton after this first season he'd had in the Prem. Build yourself up at Everton. Be the main man week in, week out, and then go Chelsea. The fact that he's come straight to Chelsea, where he's clearly so not ready, at least to be starting week in, week out for you. I know he's had injury problems as well, but he just looks so unrefined in his game.
Yeah,
and that worries me. It worries me when a player is looking that sort of not ready to play in the Premier League. He can play in the Premier League, but not ready to be at that level. It worries me whether they'll actually get to that level, because he's not going to have the time and space to develop at Chelsea, which concerns me now.
I do think he would get the time and space had he not been injured. I don't think we're sat there with the problem where he's behind someone in the pecking order.
He'd be rotating with João Pedro.
But that's still enough football. I don't think that, since he's been back, he's been playing regular football, but he's not doing enough.
It's also the pressure of being at Chelsea.
There is pressure.
Yeah.
Like huge pressure, especially the history that you have with number 9s. I know you've had a lot that have been misses, especially in the 2010s, but with Drogba, etc. And yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just so many of your players right now. I'm looking at Garnacho. I just think Garnacho is so average. I think Jamie Gittins is incredibly average right now as well. And again, it's one of those you're looking at where he needs a lot of time and space to develop. Is he going to get that at Chelsea? Maybe not. You're just stuck in this weird place where you've got some like unbelievable players and also just some distinctly average players. So when you're missing a Caicedo or a Palmer,
it really shows
in those kind of games. It's just so obvious.
That's my only bit of sympathy towards those strikers is more you haven't had Palmer. Our main creative outlet that will give you more to work with hasn't been there. So, like, let me see what you're like with him.
Do you provide that same sort of context for Gyökeres not having had Ødegaard?
Let it go.
That's a fair. I'm saying though that.
But I'm not sitting there going, they've been really good.
No,
Pedro has.
I didn't say Gyökeres.
So that's the point of the depth. Like you've got Ødegaard or Eze.
Yeah.
And you've got Trossard's been there, Saka's been there.
I've been Buonanotte rather than Eze.
Yeah, it is a more distinct drop off. And I do hear
devil's advocate.
No, I hear that point for Gyökeres as well.
I also did sit there and say Delap is Gyökeres but 6 years younger.
Well, yeah.
Like, I didn't disagree that. I think that Gyökeres has been crap and Delap has been crap.
I think your point is more valid with Palmer for João Pedro, especially.
It's like I just want to see these two players because they're our most creative players.
Also, the combinations, like those three are really gifted footballers technically. So it's like they're in the same team together. You might even, if you've got that kind of setup, you might be missing somebody like a Delap who is just going to be more unselfish.
Yeah, I think I kind of look at Delap as like it's a good player to bring on that gives you a bit more physicality, etc. If he could just be limited physical, do you know, in terms of using it for good?
Battering ram at the moment. That's what he's limited to, and that's what he was at Ipswich when he came to Spurs last season. He was brilliant against us last year, but he was a battering ram against our centre halves, and that's why he should have gone to an Everton before going to Chelsea. But yeah, I mean,
this week has definitely shown that you're in the same way. I think we've got an issue with Declan Rice, where if he gets injured, we're in big trouble. Moises Caicedo,
for sure.
Like that's kind of your warning sign that if he gets injured, you are really in trouble.
I think it's like. There's a group of 4 or 5 players. We have to have at least 3 or 4 of them in terms of Caicedo, Palmer. I'd argue maybe Fofana's in there, but Reece James,
Cucurella,
and Cucurella's an ever present. But I'd say that like if we're missing any, like Leeds, you had I think it was just Cucurella was the only one. We look awful. Bournemouth. Yeah, they look a bit better because Reece and Fofana are there and Palmer's starting to come back. But the second he went off the pitch, like I said, I was like, we're not going to do anything now.
I joked about it on Thursday in terms of looking over your shoulder. Palace have now overtaken you and knocked you out the top 4.
Like I said,
if you've got Everton up next, if you lose to them, you'll drop behind them as well.
With 3 points.
You've then got Newcastle away? Is that the game after Everton?
Yeah.
Do you genuinely start? Because you are... You know, even if let's say you draw against Everton and lose against Newcastle, which is entirely plausible, you'll be looking at being kind of 10th at that point. Does that give
teams win as well?
But it's so close in that middle.
Well, look, even if you said to me, we'll be 10th then, I don't care. Chelsea every December do this, and I've seen it. And
you can't. Do you not care that is a thing?
No,
in terms of surely you're.
No, I care in the sense that it's annoyed me this week that we're not serious enough that you can be like, right, be in and around that conversation. And now it's like, we're a top 4 team. We're a top 4.
You say writing off December. December has the most football of any month in the calendar year.
All the month.
I'm writing off because of that. What I'm saying is I'm not sat there panicking because I see it every bloody year.
You should, but you should be panicking that that's not being changed then.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I want to be in that next bit of ascendancy, but I'm not sat there going, we're going to miss out on something because of it.
But it should annoy you more that you see a performance like Arsenal with 10 men, or you see a performance against Barcelona, and you can't replicate that intensity against a Bournemouth or a Leeds midweek, despite the players you were missing. And that's like, because on paper, you are better than Leeds and Bournemouth still with all those activities. So that must be super frustrating. And it is still Maresca's biggest problem. I'm giving big credit for like the week he had last week. After this week, again, you're sat there sort of questioning, okay, when is the consistency in a big way going to come? Because I do think you've got the players to be consistent. And you've been unlucky with injuries. You have. You've been unlucky with injuries at times. We've been unlucky with injuries. That's just football these days, unfortunately. But that would worry me. And I think that you are now looking at, we're 3 points behind you.
And we're shit. I know you are, but I just know like this.
Or are we?
This team. like I said, we have had some of those players out. They're not going to be out the whole time. Chelsea will end up top 4. I don't like. I'm not this.
No, but will you if you drop like 10th or 11th and you lose the momentum?
You assume,
mate. We were 9th sacking Frank Lampard and getting coming top 4, winning Champions League. I've just seen it before.
There's a distinct possibility that you do finish top 4 for sure, or top 5. But
I'm saying it's in. The shock would be if we didn't. We will.
Sure. But does it not annoy you more with actually the ownership, the Maresca, that it's like,
when is the next?
When are we going to? Especially because I think this season you are looking at it now, going, okay, Arsenal actually are not infallible. City still aren't actually that good. If you'd won these 2 games this week, which were definitely winnable games, you'd be 3 points behind Arsenal.
And down to like, let's say Villa did win it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, what's our excuse to not win it? We don't have an excuse. I mean, like people will poke fun, be like, "Oh, Arsenal should have won it if Villa were to win it," but anyone should have then.
Yeah. There's no excuse this season to not be in and around that kind of conversation.
Well, Villa have proven that.
Yeah, but even in like the situation we're in, I mean, we're talking about sacking Frank, and we are now 3 points off Chelsea, talking about a couple of wins, and you're all of a sudden in the top 4. Obviously, as Ben said, we're just beating a couple of teams. We'd be 2 points off Arsenal.
Well, yeah, there's so many teams that could look at so many teams in that mid bracket going, God, if we just won that game, if we just played better in that game, we'd be, which is like obviously, but then there's so many teams that are just hot and cold and hit and miss, and you don't know what you're going to get from teams. A lot of teams this season, you look at like Bournemouth started so well, poor run of games, then they put a decent performance in against you, don't come away with the win. It's like, it's difficult to judge it, and that's why I think with Villa, you look at like, could they do a Leicester, which I wouldn't call it doing a Leicester, because I think Villa have a far stronger squad, have been up in the kind of tops.
Kante, Mahrez.
No, we're not going to pretend Villa's squad is not the level of.
Leicester had better superstars, but Villa had a better squad.
But also those superstars weren't superstars until that season and then beyond.
Agreed.
And even then, there's probably only like 3 or 4 of them.
I know, but even like Rodgers at his best, he's not as good as any of those 3 players.
No, but I would mainly look at especially the back 4. Like these are, Villa's back 4.
Tooth and Morgan.
Well, I will.
Fuchs.
Respectfully. No, not even disrespecting them, but
Simpson.
There's no doubt that the level that Villa are at, they've competed in Europe already. They've been up, it's not Leicester City.
Yeah, of course.
But it is certainly, no one went into the season
thinking they'd win it.
Thinking that they were in fact, I don't even think many people had them in the top 4 going into this season because of the lack of investment in the summer. And so I think what they've done is incredible. Can they sustain it?
No.
You don't think so?
Not at this level, no.
I don't think
so. Like, got big respect to them and all that, but
keep proving me wrong.
Yeah, please keep proving me wrong. If Villa win the title over Arsenal, it'll be absolute limbs. But
Emery.
It's one of those, you get a couple of months further in. Leicester weren't top of the table at this point in their season, were they? Can't remember exactly.
I remember around Christmas they were top because that was when
I think it happened through that period. Villa feasibly within the next couple of weeks could go top. Results weren't their way.
At the end of
they play us again, at the Emirates.
I think they've been brilliant, and I think they will finish top 4 this season. But to sustain a title charge with the lack of depth in attacking areas they've got, if they get an injury again, I mean, Tielemans has missed a large chunk of this season. They do.
It's a long old season. Like we're a third of the way.
Defensive injuries, I think, would be more of their problem. I think you lose Konsa. They've lost Mings for a while.
Lose Konsa there.
Lose Konsa or Torres, and it's Lindelof coming in, and maybe that's difficult. But
I do also think they've got players overperforming their actual level. Sounds harsh. I think Matty Cash, players like Luca Digne, I like them. They're good players, but they are overperforming.
Yeah, but I think like Leicester, and it was a long time ago, and maybe it will never happen again, but Leicester proved you can do that for a full season.
Of course you can, but
when you've got momentum.
It's incredibly rare.
Without Europe as well, though, with Leicester.
Well, that's the
other thing I worry.
Would Emery, the Europa League merchant,
no chance.
Would he sack up the Europa League?
No
he
chance.
won't.
For a title?
He loves it, though.
Maybe
he loves it, but like
Villa versus Arsenal, because does his hatred for Arsenal outweigh his love of the Europa League?
Between him and Emi Martinez, their hatred of Arsenal,
their team talk was a therapy.
He'd rather go down as... If Emery won a Premier League...
Oh, that changes the conversation for him.
And with what he's done in Europe.
He's probably expected to win the Europa League with Villa this season going into it. Villa would have certainly been in the top 3 favourites.
Can we talk about a double?
Well, they could
Premier League Europa double.
Well, we might be getting a bit carried away.
Uncomfortable conversations.
But no, I just think, look, it's also possible that they go on a run of 3 games where they, pick up a draw and 2 defeats or something because they got tired and they're out.
Almost like that game was crazy. I don't know.
They still don't have that level of control in games that top sides do, like I've had for the majority of the season. I still think that even the Wolves game, they've relied on a moment from outside the box. And again, you've got to say fair play, because that's how a lot of teams win games. And like I said, I'm loving what Villa are doing at the moment. Emery, some of their players are absolutely outstanding. I think if you're a Villa fan, though, you're probably getting angry listening to this and saying, why can't we sustain it, etc. But realistically, to be talking about Villa in a title race, they are in one right now, but like long-term title race, will they be there at the end of May? I would honestly be shocked if they were.
This isn't like we're 7-8 games in and a team's top. Like we're 15 in.
Yeah, but you've still got 60% of the season to go, and the more tough 60% where now can they handle the pressure? Because this is the thing as well. The narrative is now flipped with Villa. They're now in a title race. They now have to handle the pressure of being put in the title race.
I think even last year, I swear Forest at one point weren't that far off.
Yeah, Forest was. They said about Forest they were in the title race when they were third last year,
and that was like February
for a bit in the title race.
And that was like February, and then it never came seventh.
But it never felt like that.
Liverpool always looked further ahead.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but Forest looked nailed on for top 4. Do you know what I mean? Like when it comes to crunch time, those last 3 months, that's tough.
The Emirates will be rocking though. Start of Jan, you play Villa.
If we don't beat Villa at home, I'm just sick to
that would be an incredible hate.
Emery does seem to have his number a bit.
He does fully.
Kind of. I mean, we beat them away last year. But it was right at the start of the season, and then even in that game, that was a bit of like they should have taken 2-0. But Ollie Watkins should have put them 1-0 up when Ryan made that save, and then we kind of scrapped one at Trossard again.
I want to talk about Spurs though.
Can we get?
We'll talk about City first.
Talk
about City first. The problem with you are just a little bit of a mid-table team, so you did get a win, but you are
Spurs. Brentford was up there with Brighton, West Ham.
Yeah, I mean Palace Palace actually into the top 4, so we maybe talk about them first.
Disrespect to your podcast co-host.
No, City. I mean, they've had a good week. Good result. They've won 3 in a row. Good performance against Sunderland. I mean, I felt like Sunderland got a little bit unlucky because I thought they started the game well.
Yeah.
And it was looking like one of those games where Sunderland could cause City problems here.
Yeah.
And then Ruben Diaz comes up with a Vincent Kompany moment, which...
I hate those kind of goals. I don't know why. When a defender slices across the ball,
I've seen Ruben Diaz sky so many of them. So I'm like, that's not like a talent that you've really got in the locker.
No,
and you know, like
there's something huge. There's something so unsatisfying for some reason about when a defender slices across the ball. It's like Kompany's goal. He slices across.
Yeah, he does.
The ball doesn't go where he wants it to go. Obviously, he can't take anything away from.
Also, it's more unsatisfying because it happened for City against Sunderland. Whereas if Dan Ballard had done that against City, we'd have all been going mental.
Yeah, so I would not be saying that was Dan Ballard.
I do also quite like, though, something about, as much as I really enjoyed what Sunderland do, when you're playing a team that sits in a bit, please shoot, because I watch so many games where you go out to the winger goes back, and we've all watched that a lot in the Premier League in recent years. So I'm like,
even if you win a corner, gets blocked in a corner.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and it paid off for City. And then, obviously...
Cherki and Foden.
I was going to say, probably bring up
Rabona.
Comments to do with the Rabona.
I honestly, that blood... He went on like this really long kind of thing after the game in his interview and sort of saying that, but there's a reason he's not been starting a lot recently because he doesn't work hard enough and he's got a lot to learn and... all that Rabona stuff is very cool, but you can also just cross the ball with your right or your left foot. So it's clear that's not really impressed Pep. It's clear he's just kind of like... And also he's talking about Messi after the game. Yeah. And he was like, I've watched... Honestly, I just think he's taking the piss. I think he's so done at this point that he's just taking the piss a little bit in his press conferences. And
it's just odd. Sometimes Pep gets in these moods, because he was doing it even earlier in the week before the game. He gets in these weird moods where he's like, is he trying to wind the media up? Does he know what he's doing, or is he just...
when he grabs someone on the pitch and just starts screaming at them, or an opposition player.
I love it when he goes to full Nathan Redmond. Who did he do it with the other day?
Did Nathan Redmond? He's done a couple.
Chuck Wasey. He started speaking to him. After it was like, he's thinking Nathan Redmond again.
Yeah,
he's unbelievable. He is weird, Pep. Like, he just goes through these phases in a season. I love him as well.
But I think City needed a bit of that, fun, especially if you're looking at a team. Last year when you're like, they've won 4 in a row and they maybe look tired and bored. Having that sort of fun back to their football. You look like Foden and Cherki. Obviously, there was all that nonsense at the start of the season about how Foden hated Cherki and was trying to
that was just
clearly untrue. You look at the way they celebrated. It was so football Twitter. Yeah. But I just looking at it, I'm like, They look like they're having fun, and that for me is more worrying than anything else.
But also very good. Like Cherki, an extremely talented footballer. The way he nearly set up, I can't remember who it was, but the little dribble where he beat a couple of men, sat down, battled on his arse, and then squared it. Like, he can just do those kind of things. And it's so worth, I mean, I know Pep probably doesn't agree, but it's so worth having a player who might be a little bit of a luxury player, but they, at any moment can produce something like that.
They're game breakers. Players like that.
If he starts to try and nullify it, like Rory Talks was the one that I thought, you can't change it.
I hope he does.
Like, you look at Cherki and you go, he is so ridiculous technically that you would never be able to fully take that away from him. It's like Pep's going to try his best, isn't he? But I don't think that's necessarily fully true about Pep ruining attacks.
No,
he doesn't ruin them. He can sort of suffocate what you see from them on a regular basis.
Like the Grealish effect, isn't it?
Exactly.
But also that stuff with Cherki, it's like when Cherki's doing that and you're not winning games.
Yeah.
It's a very easy thing to highlight him as, you're not doing the basics and you're trying to be flash and when you're winning games, it's, this is really fun, this is exciting, this is what we want to see. So they win the game against Sunderland convincingly, he pulls off that for the third goal. It's like, I love that. If he does that and it doesn't work and then they get countered and he doesn't track back and they concede, it's a very different story. So I can understand like Pep's thinking about it in the long term in terms of game in, game out. But you do want to see that, as much as like I don't want to see that in the slightest when we're in a title race with them. From like a neutral footballing point of view, you want to see that.
Yeah, I want magicians.
Yeah,
but
fully.
I just think it's kind of, we didn't talk about getting on the end of that goal was Foden.
Philip Walton Foden.
So good.
We spoke about Emery hating Arsenal. I mean, when Arsenal in a title race, Phil Foden locks in, it feels like.
He loves it. He's been so good since the start of the season. I mean, there was talk about his different role, playing a little bit deeper at times. I know
more of a midfielder than a...
Yeah. And it just looks like, again, he's got a new lease of life. It's like last season there was talk about his mental health and stuff going on off the pitch. Obviously, we don't actually know about. There's nothing sort of confirmed. So if there was, that would explain some of the form that we saw from him last season. And just comes back this season, again, he just looks happier, looks more relaxed when he's playing. And a player like that, when they are relaxed and having fun, they're going to produce magic because he's a magic footballer. And he started winning City games again. I mean, what is that now?
Feels like
5 goals in his last 3 games.
Something like that, yeah.
Been consistently chipping in with goals and assists since the start of the season. Very much back up in those debates for best kind of players in the Premier League at the moment. So I'm happy for him. I love Phil Foden. Yeah. A Phil Foden that is playing well makes me happy.
Great player,
yeah. That's the other thing that's concerning me a little bit is, I said before, City are a Haaland-centric team. If Haaland doesn't score, City won't win. It's another game that Haaland hasn't scored in, and they've won. Now he can't score, but it's not. But it's not hurting them at the moment, and that's
it's hurting Tobes, though.
Yeah, hurt the bank balance.
He wants to scream about Tobes a little bit more.
No, but I completely agree. And they're a really fun watch at the moment, City, because they have those magicians. Cherki, Foden's playing well. Doku's fun.
I love Doku so much, man. He's so good.
They're good. Yeah, they're doing very well.
Another little magician. I'm speaking about Spurs now, best believe. Another little magician that has come to the fore this weekend, Xavi Simons. We started this podcast in poetic fashion for Rory, with Eze scoring a hat-trick, Simons not starting that game. How the tables have turned.
No, we're not. He's scored what? Credit to him. Good goal, good assist against Brentford.
No. Great goal, great assist.
Okay.
It does make you think with Frank, why are we not starting him a bit?
Don't get me started.
No, like he starts and he delivers.
He's genuinely outstanding on Saturday. Like the assist, the run off the back line, run off the last shoulder. Really nice touch, brings it down, squares it to Richarlison, easy goal, just a little bit of magic from him. And you thought at that point, you're like, okay, nice, another assist. When a player is in that kind of run of form, they just need a contribution just for their confidence. Like, he could have an amazing game, not contribute, and Spurs fans would be like, brilliant, so pleased with him. But the general conversation around him wouldn't change, which is what the annoying thing has been about some of his performances this season. The assist and then the goal. The thing I loved about the goal that he scored as well was lost the ball, immediately snaps back into a challenge, wins the ball back, drives from the halfway line. I mean, I don't know what Nathan Collins is doing. Brentford's defenders are terrible defenders. But again, to slow himself down, slotted bottom corner, really, really composed finish. And you could see in his celebration just like obviously how buzzing he was to score his first goal for us. And it is a bit of relief, probably. And man of the match performance, like that's what we signed Xavi for, to break games like that and to sort of, and for the big games as well. Xavi Simons is supposed to be our big game player too, so that will obviously need to come as well before the conversation really starts changing about him. It was just nice to see some free-flowing football. Archie Gray as well, he's been genuinely very, very impressive every time he started for us this season, and yet again starts the game at the weekend, was brilliant, was probably my man of the match after Xavi Simons. So just pleasing, like players that I wanted to see playing, doing well. 3 points behind Chelsea, with all the chatter that we've had so far this podcast.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Still got one of the best away records in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Maybe I was too hard on Frank. I did say Frank out like last week, so maybe I'm just a flip-flopping,
Well, no, but I don't. It was so reasonable to be Frank out, because it wasn't just the results; it was the performances. You weren't seeing improvements.
Sure, by the way.
The North London derby was disgraceful, but I think what you need to see now is you've got to see repeat performances of that.
Yeah, that has to happen.
That cannot be
on a string of games now.
You could be in a week's time Saturday going, "Oh, Brentford was the anomaly."
Yeah, no, fully. Yeah, no, I do agree with that. I'm not undecided. Obviously, I've made my decision technically, but that has brought me back in a little bit Saturday. It's like, okay, has he just gone, this is my last chance to save my job, I'm just going to throw something at it, hope it sticks? Yeah. Maybe it has.
Maybe he learns.
It will be, was that Liverpool beating West Ham?
Yeah.
And then going back to type, which is what they've done, or was
Arsenal losing to Villa?
Yeah.
Which will be a big game changer, because Arsenal are going to go on and lose a bunch of games now. But
no, luckily we got Wolves. Luckily we got Wolves up next, which is Wolves at home is probably one game you want to get out of.
I don't actually know who we've got next, so it'll be interesting. We've got Slavia Prague tomorrow. I'm going to, so hopefully that will be another win. But yeah, I don't know our Premier League fixtures, so I don't know if we're going to be able to put together a run.
Away at Forest.
Oh yeah, I'm going to that game on Saturday as well. I'm in hospitality at the.
How did you forget that you're going to hospitality?
I know, yeah, I'm at hospitality at the.
How the other half live?
It's my first time ever at the City Ground. Then Liverpool at home. So yeah, a couple of really, really big games coming up for Spurs. Like Forest away and Liverpool at home, 2 tough games.
The away grounds are
Liverpool right now. So yeah, and then we've got Sunderland and then Bournemouth away. So. Over this Christmas period will really be the decider for Frank.
Yeah.
Can he? It's not even just about results, it's about performances as well. Can we maintain these performances? Does he shit himself next game? Bench Xavi, bench Archie Gray again. We go back to Paulinho, Bentancur, all of that stuff. So yeah, it's going to be
1-0.
Deutsch. No,
you can go Hooters before. That's the away pub for Forest.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah. Well, I don't actually think that. I don't think Forest beat us. I think we beat them.
I can see a draw though.
No.
I can see Sean Dyche getting one.
There you go. Spurs maybe back in the Champions League race. I mean, if you're in the Champions League race, we are. So there you go.
Yeah.
We do this every year, don't we?
There we go. I think that pretty much covers everything.
And shout out Palace. Congrats.
And shout out Palace. Good performance from them.
And Harry Wilson scoring bangers.
Shout out the Premier League fixture organisers for giving us Sunday off.
That was very pleasant. I had a great day.
Yeah, really watched the F1 instead. But no, that's the end of the podcast. We are going to be back on Thursday with a little bonus podcast. Going to be talking about the World Cup, maybe a little bit, and some overrated.
The most overrated player on every Premier League team. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be. I think that's going to get a bit raucous. I'm thinking here. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Until then, if you've enjoyed the podcast, please do give us 5 stars, and we will catch you all on the next one. Goodbye.